Cowboy accepted an Apache slave as payment, only to discover she was Chief's daughter. The hot sun hung low in the sky, painting the dusty frontier town in shades of gold and brown. The wind swept through the streets, carrying the scent of hay, leather, and the faint smoke from the chimneys of small wooden houses. The town, though small, had its share of travelers, merchants, and cowboys passing through, each with their own story. Among them was a man named Sam Callahan, a cowboy with a rough hat perched low over his eyes and a weathered coat that had seen countless miles on the open range. Sam was known for his skill with horses and his sharp eye for trouble, but lately he had been struggling. Business was slow, and debts had begun to pile up like the dust on the main street. One afternoon, Sam found himself sitting outside the town's saloon, nursing a mug of watered-down coffee, when a man named Jasper came strolling toward him. Jasper was a trader who dealt in everything from horses to tools, and he had a reputation for being clever, though sometimes a bit unscrupulous. "Sam," Jasper called, tipping his hat, "I've got a proposition for you." Sam squinted against the sun. "I don't need trouble today, Jasper," he said, trying to sound firmer than he felt. Trouble had a way of finding him whether he wanted it or not. "Not trouble," Jasper said, holding up his hands. "Opportunity. You owe me $20 for those supplies, remember?" "Well, I've got something that might settle your debt in a different way." Sam raised an eyebrow. "Different how?" Jasper grinned, revealing a row of crooked teeth. "I've got a girl, Apache, strong, smart, can do work on the ranch or around the town. Take her and your debt is cleared. No money changes hands." Sam nearly spat out his coffee. He had heard stories of traders offering all kinds of strange payments, but this was something new. "A girl?" he asked slowly, unsure how to respond. "Yes," Jasper said, nodding eagerly. "She can work hard, learn fast. You'll find her useful and your debt disappears. Win-win, I'd say." Sam shifted uncomfortably in his chair. He had a sense of right and wrong, and something about the idea of taking someone in payment made him uneasy. Still, he was tired of running from debt, and his options were few. He had no family, no home to speak of, and the ranch he worked at barely paid enough to cover his meals. He stood and walked a few steps away, rubbing the back of his neck. "I don't know, Jasper. This doesn't feel right." Jasper clapped him on the shoulder, almost knocking him off balance. "Come now, Sam, don't be too proud. You'd be giving her a chance at a better life. Besides, think of it as a favor to me. You'll see she's clever, you won't regret it." Sam took a deep breath and looked back at the town. The sun was dipping lower, and shadows stretched across the dirt streets. He could hear the laughter of children playing near the well and the distant clatter of hooves on the wooden boardwalk. In the distance, he could see the mountains, jagged and gray against the orange sky. He knew he had to make a decision soon. Finally, he nodded. "All right, Jasper, I'll take her, but I want it clear, I'm not some cruel master. I'll treat her fairly and she's free to leave if she wants." Jasper's grin widened. "Fair enough. That's why I thought of you. You're a good man, Sam. She'll be in safe hands." A few hours later, Sam followed Jasper to the edge of town, where a small wagon waited. Inside was the girl, no older than 17, sitting quietly with a calm expression. Her dark eyes studied Sam carefully, alert but not fearful. Her hair, long and black, was braided neatly, and she wore simple clothes that suggested she had traveled long distances. Sam felt a mixture of curiosity and nervousness. He had never met someone like her before. She didn't speak immediately, only nodded slightly in acknowledgement. He realized quickly that she was not afraid, and that confidence made him both cautious and intrigued. The journey back to his small cabin on the outskirts of town was quiet at first. Sam kept his distance, giving her space to settle in. He had a feeling that this girl was unlike anyone he had met before. After a while, he decided to break the silence. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated, then said softly, "Naomi." "All right, Naomi," he said, trying to smile. "I'm Sam. Don't worry, you'll be safe with me. You can rest, eat, and well, just get used to things. No one's going to hurt you." Naomi nodded again, her eyes scanning the trees and the open fields as they rode along. Sam noticed how observant she was, taking in every detail: the birds, the tracks of animals in the dirt, the wind moving through the grass. He realized she had a sharp mind and a keen sense of her surroundings. That evening, Sam prepared a simple meal of beans and bread. Naomi watched quietly, then, to his surprise, helped him with small tasks. She had a careful, thoughtful way of doing things, and Sam found himself appreciating her assistance. For the first time in days, he felt a sense of companionship, however tentative it was. Over the next few days, Sam began to notice other qualities in Naomi. She was curious and quick to learn, asking questions about the land, the animals, and the ways of the settlers. She didn't complain, even when the work was hard or the sun was scorching hot. Sam, who had spent much of his life alone, found himself respecting her resilience and determination. Yet, despite this growing respect, a quiet unease lingered in his mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Naomi than met the eye. She had a way of observing the world, of reading people, that made him both impressed and wary. He wondered who she really was and why Jasper would have offered her as payment so casually. The townspeople began to talk. Some were curious, others judgmental. They whispered about Sam's decision to accept Naomi, questioning his motives and morality. But Sam paid little attention to them. He had learned long ago that the frontier was full of opinions, and the only way to survive was to make decisions for oneself. One afternoon, as Sam and Naomi worked together in the small garden he had planted near his cabin, she paused and looked at him seriously. "You are not like the others," she said softly. "You do not judge as they do." Sam stopped, leaning on his hoe, and looked at her. Her words carried a weight he had not expected. "I try not to," he admitted. "I've seen too much of the world to waste time on judgment. Better to focus on what's right." Naomi nodded, her eyes thoughtful. There was a quiet understanding between them now, a tentative trust beginning to form. For Sam, it was a revelation. He realized that this unexpected meeting, the strange circumstances of accepting her as payment, might lead to something far more meaningful than he had imagined. That night, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned deep shades of purple and blue, Sam sat outside his cabin, staring at the stars. Naomi was inside, quietly humming a melody he had never heard before, soft and haunting, yet beautiful. He felt a strange mix of wonder and unease. Something about her presence was changing the rhythm of his life, challenging the way he thought about the world, and he wasn't sure he was ready for it. But one thing was certain: this was just the beginning. The frontier had a way of revealing truths, testing courage, and forging unlikely bonds. Sam didn't yet know the full story of Naomi, and she didn't know the full story of him. Yet, fate had brought them together, and the winds of destiny were already stirring. As he finally retired for the night, Sam felt a strange sense of anticipation. The journey ahead would not be easy, but for the first time in a long while, he felt a spark of hope. Perhaps in the unlikeliest of circumstances, he had found a companion, a friend, and maybe even something more. And somewhere deep in the shadows of the night, Naomi's eyes shone with quiet determination, ready for whatever lay ahead. The morning sun rose slowly over the hills, spilling light across the dusty landscape and casting long shadows from the scattered trees. Sam had been awake before dawn, as he always was, tending to his small cabin and the little garden that had become a source of pride for him. He heard the soft sounds of Naomi moving inside, preparing her own breakfast with quiet efficiency. The routines of the frontier were simple, but they required attention and patience, and both Sam and Naomi were learning the rhythm of this new life together. After a simple meal of bread and fresh fruit, Sam decided it was time to teach Naomi more about the land. "Today," he said, tying his boots, We're going out to check the horses. You'll learn more than just feeding them. You'll learn to read their movements, see what they need, and notice the signs of the land." Naeli nodded, her dark eyes shining with curiosity. She adjusted the satchel slung across her shoulder and followed him without hesitation. Sam noticed how quickly she adapted to the work, her hands confident and careful, her steps light but steady across the uneven ground. He found himself impressed, not only by her skill, but by the calm focus she brought to every task. As they approached the stable, the horses stirred at their arrival. Sam had always known the importance of trust between a cowboy and his animals, and now he saw how naturally Naeli understood that connection. She spoke softly to the horses, running her hands along their coats and whispering words that seemed to soothe them instantly. Sam watched silently, realizing that she had a gift he had never expected. "You have a way with them," he said quietly. "Most people don't know how to approach a horse. They either rush or scare it. You understand." Naeli looked up and smiled faintly. "I've had to be careful," she said. "Life doesn't give many second chances. You learn to move gently or you get hurt." Sam nodded, sensing that her words carried more meaning than she intended to share. He decided not to press. The frontier was a place of survival, and everyone had their own story, their own reasons for being cautious. They spent the morning riding along narrow trails, checking the fences and making sure the animals were healthy. Sam explained the importance of water sources, the patterns of the wild animals, and the way the wind could carry scents across miles of open land. Naeli listened carefully, asking questions that revealed her sharp mind. She wanted to understand not just the how, but the why. Sam was impressed by her eagerness and intelligence. By midday, they had reached a small creek that cut through the hills. The water ran clear and cool, and the horses drank eagerly while Sam and Naeli rested on the bank. She sat quietly, watching the rippling water, and Sam sensed a contemplative mood. "You think a lot," he said, breaking the silence. Naeli turned to him, her expression serious. "I have to," she replied. "The world can be dangerous if you do not pay attention. Even the smallest detail can make a difference." Sam leaned back on his hands, considering her words. There was wisdom in her voice, a calm certainty that went beyond her years. He realized that she had seen more of the world than most young people her age, and that experience had shaped her into someone remarkable. After a long pause, he decided to ask a question he had been holding back. "Where did you learn all this?" he said gently. "About animals, the land, about people." Naeli looked away toward the distant hills, her eyes thoughtful. "From my family," she said softly. "From watching and listening. You have to learn quickly if you want to survive." Sam nodded, sensing there was more she wasn't saying. He decided to leave it be for now. Some stories reveal themselves slowly, and he knew the importance of patience. As the sun climbed higher, they began the ride back toward the cabin. Along the way, they encountered signs of the wild. A family of deer grazing in the distance, the tracks of coyotes near a dry creek bed, and the distant cries of birds circling above. Sam pointed out the details, explaining how each clue could tell a story about the land and its inhabitants. Naeli listened intently, occasionally asking questions that made him think in ways he hadn't before. By the time they reached the cabin, the afternoon heat was strong, and both were ready for a break. Sam offered her a place to rest, and Naeli accepted quietly, sitting on the porch and watching the clouds drift across the sky. He noticed how she seemed to notice everything, the way the wind shifted, the color of the clouds, even the subtle sounds of animals hidden in the grass. He realized that her attention to detail was more than just survival instinct. It was a way of understanding the world deeply and completely. That evening, after preparing another simple meal together, they sat outside watching the sun dip below the hills. The sky turned shades of pink and orange, and the wind carried the scent of grass and distant wildflowers. Sam felt a quiet sense of peace, a feeling that had been rare in his life. Naomi's presence had changed the rhythm of his days, bringing both challenge and comfort. As darkness fell, the first stars began to appear in the sky. Sam noticed Naomi staring upward, her expression calm but reflective. "Do you ever wonder about what's out there?" she asked softly, her voice almost a whisper. "All the time," Sam replied. "There's a lot we don't know, a lot we can't control, but we do what we can and we keep going." Naomi nodded, her eyes fixed on a bright star near the horizon. "I like that," she said. "It's simple, but it makes sense." Over the next few days, Sam and Naomi settled into a routine. He taught her more about riding, tracking, and understanding the land. She taught him, in her quiet way, patience, observation, and the value of listening. Their partnership grew naturally, built on trust and mutual respect. One afternoon, a small group of travelers passed through the area, stopping briefly at the cabin. They were curious about Naomi, asking questions about where she had come from. Sam answered politely, careful not to reveal too much, while Naomi observed quietly. She seemed unfazed by the attention, her calm demeanor making the travelers respect her presence. That evening, as the sky darkened and the stars filled the heavens, Sam reflected on how much had changed in such a short time. When he had accepted Naomi, he had not known what to expect. Now he realized that she was not just a companion, but someone who challenged his way of thinking and reminded him of the importance of kindness, respect, and understanding. A few nights later, while the fire crackled and cast dancing shadows on the cabin walls, Naomi spoke up. "I like this place," she said softly. "It feels safe, but I know I cannot stay forever. My family, they are far away." Sam nodded, understanding the weight behind her words. "I know," he said, "but while you're here, you're welcome. You don't have to face anything alone." Naomi smiled faintly, a gesture that seemed to carry both gratitude and a hint of sorrow. Sam felt a quiet determination form within him. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he knew that he would protect her and stand by her. He could sense that she was not just any girl. She was someone extraordinary, and the world would not always be kind to her. As the nights grew longer and the days passed in quiet rhythm, Sam and Naomi continued to learn from each other. He began to notice subtle signs in her behavior, her confidence, her intelligence, her careful observation of people and events. Something about her hinted at a story he did not yet fully understand, a past that was both important and dangerous. One afternoon, while checking the fences near the edge of the property, Sam noticed Naomi pause and stare at a distant ridge. Her expression was focused, almost commanding, as if she were reading the land in a way he could not. He felt a mix of curiosity and caution. "What do you see?" he asked. She turned to him, her eyes sharp and serious. "Nothing yet," she said, "but soon you will understand." Sam nodded, sensing that there was much more to learn about Naomi. He realized that their journey together was only beginning. The frontier had a way of revealing secrets slowly, testing patience and forging unlikely bonds. He knew that whatever lay ahead, he and Naomi would face it together, learning and growing along the way. As the sun set that evening, casting long shadows across the land, Sam felt a quiet sense of anticipation. There was a story unfolding, one that involved courage, trust, and unexpected discoveries. Naomi had entered his life under unusual circumstances, but now he understood that some meetings were destined, no matter how strange they seemed at first. And somewhere deep in the hills, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying the promise of challenges, revelations, and the beginnings of a bond that neither Sam nor Naomi could yet fully comprehend. The morning air was crisp as Sam saddled his horse, the cool wind carrying the faint scent of pine and wildflowers across the hills. Naomi was already outside, her movements precise and quiet as she prepared for the day. There was a sense of purpose in her eyes, a focus that Sam had noticed more and more in recent days. He felt both admiration and curiosity. He had begun to realize that Naeli was not just resourceful, she was extraordinary, someone whose life experience had shaped her into a person beyond her years. "Where are we going today?" Sam asked, adjusting his hat against the rising sun. Naeli looked at him, her dark eyes steady. "I want to explore the ridge beyond the creek," she said. "There are signs of people and animals that you might not notice at first. I want to show you." Sam nodded, intrigued. He had always appreciated her keen observation skills and her ability to notice the small details that others overlooked. Together, they set off, their horses moving steadily along the narrow trails that wound through the hills. As they rode, Naeli pointed out tracks in the dirt, marks on the trees, and subtle changes in the vegetation. "See here," she said, stopping to gesture toward a set of faint footprints. "These are fresh. Someone passed through not long ago. And the way the grass is pressed down tells me they moved quickly, trying not to be seen." Sam leaned closer, studying the marks. "You're right," he said, impressed. "I wouldn't have noticed that at all." She smiled faintly, a hint of pride in her expression. "It's all about paying attention. The world talks to those who listen." They continued along the ridge, the landscape opening up to reveal a vast expanse of hills and valleys below. The view was breathtaking, and Sam felt a rare sense of peace as he surveyed the land. But he also sensed that Naeli's focus was elsewhere. Her eyes scanned the horizon, her posture alert, as if she were expecting something. Suddenly, in the distance, they spotted a small group of people moving along a hidden trail. Sam instinctively tightened his grip on the reins, his heart quickening. "Who do you think they are?" he whispered. Naeli's eyes narrowed, her expression serious. "We'll find out. Stay close and be calm." As they approached, the group noticed them. One of the men raised his hand in greeting, and Naeli immediately recognized the signs, her body language shifting subtly. Sam could sense that she knew these people in some way, though he did not yet understand how. The group consisted of 3 adults and 2 children. They were cautious but not hostile, their eyes studying Sam and Naeli as they rode closer. Naeli dismounted gracefully, stepping forward to speak. Her voice was calm but carried authority. "We mean no harm," she said. "We are travelers exploring the land." The man who seemed to lead the group studied her carefully. "You are not like other settlers," he said slowly. "There is something familiar about you." Naeli's expression did not change, but Sam could see a flicker of recognition in her eyes. "I have been taught to observe," she said, "and to move carefully, that is all." There was a long pause, then the man nodded slightly. "Perhaps, but you carry the mark of your people. You are not a stranger to us." Sam frowned, unsure what he meant. Naeli looked at him for a brief moment, then back at the group. "We should not stay long," she said quietly. "They may be friendly, but the land is unpredictable. We must always be aware." The man nodded. "Your caution is wise," he said. "You are like your mother." At this, Sam noticed something in Naeli's eyes, a mixture of surprise, pride, and something deeper he could not name. She had clearly heard these words before, words that carried meaning he could not yet understand. As the encounter ended, Naeli led Sam back to the ridge, moving with the confidence of someone who knew the land intimately. Sam felt a growing sense of curiosity and concern. He realized that Naeli's past was far more complex than he had imagined. She was no ordinary traveler or runaway. There were layers to her life that she had not yet revealed. That evening, back at the cabin, Sam decided to ask gently, "Naeli, who were those people? They seemed to recognize you." Naeli paused, looking toward the horizon where the last rays of sunlight touched the hills. "They know my family," she said finally. "I cannot explain everything now, but it is important that you understand. My life has always required caution, patience, and careful observation. I am not here by accident." Sam nodded slowly, sensing the weight of her words. He had suspected there was more to her story, but now it was becoming clear. Naeli was someone of significance, someone with a past that could influence the present. He felt a mixture of admiration and a subtle worry. If she had a family with influence or authority, what did that mean for their safety and their future? Over the next few days, Sam noticed more signs of Naomi's unusual upbringing. She was exceptionally skilled at tracking animals and people, reading subtle changes in the environment, and anticipating events before they happened. She taught Sam new techniques, showing him how to move quietly, how to spot hidden trails, and how to understand the language of the land itself. But there was something else. Her confidence carried a quiet authority, as if she had been trained to lead and command respect. Sam observed how animals and even strangers instinctively responded to her presence. He began to realize that she was not only resourceful, but also deeply connected to her heritage and her people. One afternoon, while checking the perimeter of the property, Sam asked, "Naomi, why didn't you tell me about your family sooner?" She looked at him, her expression thoughtful. "I needed to be sure I could trust you," she said. "The world is full of people who mean well but do not understand. I had to see if you were different, if you would treat me with respect." Sam felt a swell of emotion. He realized that their growing bond was built not just on necessity, but on mutual respect and trust. Naomi had chosen to share this part of her life with him because she saw something honorable in him, and that realization made him feel both humbled and proud. The next day, they decided to explore a deeper part of the hills, following a trail Naomi had noticed during her earlier observations. As they moved carefully through the terrain, Sam marveled at her skill. She could read the smallest details, the broken branch indicating a recent crossing, the subtle shift in bird songs signaling the presence of animals, even the faint footprints of someone moving quietly through the underbrush. Suddenly, Naomi stopped and held up her hand. "Wait," she whispered. Sam froze, following her gaze. There, hidden in a small clearing, were more signs of recent activity, smoke rising faintly in the distance, and the sound of voices carried lightly by the wind. Sam's heart pounded. "Who are they?" he asked softly. Naomi's eyes were steady, her posture calm but alert. "I do not know yet," she said, "but we must observe carefully. Sometimes what we see is not what it seems." For the next several hours, they watched from a safe distance, taking note of the movements of the people in the clearing. Naomi explained each observation to Sam, showing him how small details could reveal the nature and intent of the group. Sam was amazed by her insight and ability to remain calm under pressure. As night fell, they returned to the cabin, their minds buzzing with questions. Sam realized that Naomi's life was far more intricate and layered than he had imagined. She had skills, knowledge, and a heritage that made her remarkable, and he knew that understanding her fully would take time and patience. That evening by the fire, Sam spoke quietly. "Naomi, I see now that you are not just clever or resourceful. You are extraordinary. I feel like I've only begun to understand you." Naomi's eyes softened. "And you, Sam, have surprised me. I did not expect anyone to treat me as an equal, to respect my abilities and my caution. That is why I chose to trust you." There was a quiet moment of understanding between them, a bond growing stronger with each passing day. Sam realized that their journey together was no longer just about survival or curiosity. It was about trust, respect, and the slow uncovering of truths that would shape both their lives. In the days that followed, Naomi shared small glimpses of her past, lessons learned from her family, the values she had been taught, and the importance of careful observation. Each story, each detail, revealed a life shaped by both challenge and wisdom. Sam listened intently, feeling increasingly aware that Naomi was not only remarkable, but also someone whose story could change the way he saw the world. And somewhere in the distance, beyond the hills and valleys, the wind carried the promise of revelations yet to come. Sam sensed that the true story of Naomi's life, the secrets of her family, and the challenges ahead were only beginning to unfold. He felt a mix of anticipation and respect, knowing that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, learning from each other and growing stronger with every step. The sun had just begun to climb over the horizon when Sam and Naeli set out toward the distant hills, their horses moving steadily along the winding trails. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the scent of pine and wildflowers, and the sky stretched in soft shades of pink and orange. Sam noticed Naeli's alertness as they rode. Her eyes constantly scanned the landscape, and her posture was confident yet cautious. He had learned by now that her instincts were sharp, and he trusted her judgment completely. "Where are we heading today?" Sam asked, adjusting his hat against the morning sun. "There is a settlement not far from here," Naeli replied quietly. "It is neutral ground. I need to speak to someone there, someone who can help explain a few things about my family." Sam felt a flicker of concern. "Your family? Naeli, are you sure it's safe?" She turned her head, her dark eyes steady. "I have to do this," she said simply. "It is time you learned the full story, and it is time I face them. You will understand soon." Sam nodded, realizing that Naeli had carried secrets carefully for a reason. He had trusted her instincts, and now he understood that her past was tied closely to her present actions. He followed quietly, giving her space while remaining alert. The journey took most of the morning. As they crossed a small stream, Sam noticed the way Naeli observed every detail: the movement of birds, the tracks in the mud, even the sound of the wind shifting through the trees. She had a natural ability to read the land, to sense the presence of others, and to remain calm even when the unexpected happened. Sam admired her skill and patience, realizing that it had been honed over years of experience. By midday, they reached the settlement, a small cluster of wooden buildings nestled between hills. The area was quiet, with only a few people moving about. Naeli led Sam to a modest house near the edge of the settlement. As they approached, a man stepped out to greet them. His face was kind but serious, and he observed Naeli with a mix of respect and curiosity. "Welcome, Naeli," he said, his voice calm. "It has been some time since we expected you." Naeli nodded, her expression composed. "Thank you for seeing me. I need guidance and information about my family. There are questions I cannot answer alone." The man motioned for them to enter, and Sam followed, sensing that this meeting was important. Inside, the house was simple but orderly. Sunlight streamed through the windows, illuminating shelves filled with books, maps, and small trinkets. Sam noticed the calm atmosphere. It was a place of thought and reflection, not haste or conflict. Once seated, Naeli began to speak, carefully choosing her words. "I have lived with a stranger in the past weeks," she explained. "I have learned many things and I trust him, but now I must understand my place and my family's wishes. I need to know what responsibilities I carry and what dangers may exist." The man listened attentively, nodding occasionally. "You are the daughter of the chief," he said finally. "Your family has always valued courage, wisdom, and honor. It is why you were taught observation, patience, and careful judgment. Your presence here shows that you have inherited these qualities fully." Sam felt a rush of surprise. Naeli had never mentioned this openly. Her careful hints, her knowledge, and her confidence suddenly made sense. He realized that she was someone of great significance, someone whose life was tied to leadership, respect, and the well-being of others. "Why did no one tell me?" Sam asked gently, looking at Naeli. "I had no idea who you really were." Naeli smiled faintly, her expression calm but thoughtful. "It was not yet the right time," she said. "Trust must be earned and understanding must come gradually. You have proven yourself trustworthy through your actions and respect, not through words. That is why I have shared this with you now." The man nodded in agreement. "Your father, the chief, would wish for you to know that he respects your judgment, but there are responsibilities that come with your position. You are not just a daughter, you are a future leader, someone whose decisions may impact many lives. That is why you must always be cautious and aware." Sam felt a mixture of awe and apprehension. He had accepted Nayeli into his life under unusual circumstances, never imagining that she carried such significance. Now, he understood why she had been so careful, so skilled, and so observant. She had been preparing for challenges far greater than either of them had anticipated. For the next few hours, Nayeli and the man discussed her family's history, values, and the expectations placed upon her. Sam listened closely, learning about a world that had been hidden from him until now. He realized that her upbringing had instilled not only survival skills, but also leadership, respect, and a deep understanding of people and the land. As the conversation continued, Sam began to understand the delicate balance that Nayeli had to maintain. She was caught between two worlds, the frontier he knew and the heritage she carried. Her trust in him was not given lightly, and her guidance now included him in ways he had never expected. By late afternoon, the discussion came to a close. Nayeli thanked the man for his guidance and support, and they prepared to leave the settlement. As they mounted their horses, Sam noticed a renewed sense of purpose in her eyes. She had gained clarity, understanding, and confidence, and he felt privileged to witness this transformation. The ride back was quiet, both of them lost in thought. Sam reflected on the courage it took for Nayeli to face her past and seek answers. He felt admiration for her resilience and patience, realizing that she had faced challenges he could scarcely imagine. Nayeli, for her part, rode with careful focus, her mind attentive to both the land and the lessons she had received. As evening approached, they reached the edge of the hills near their cabin. The sky was painted with deep shades of purple and gold, and the wind carried the scent of distant flowers and fresh earth. Sam dismounted and led the horses to the stable, while Nayeli walked beside him, her posture relaxed but alert. Once inside, Sam finally spoke, his voice quiet but filled with respect. "Nayeli, I understand now why you are so careful, why you observe everything, and why you trust only those who prove themselves. You are remarkable, and I am grateful to be part of this journey with you." Nayeli smiled, a hint of relief in her expression. "Thank you, Sam. You have proven yourself not only trustworthy but also brave in ways I did not expect. Our journey together is far from over, but I know now that we can face what comes with honesty, respect, and care." That night, as they sat outside the cabin watching the stars, Sam felt a sense of awe. Nayeli had shared a part of her life that few could even imagine, revealing a heritage of leadership, wisdom, and courage. He realized that their bond was more than companionship. It was a partnership built on trust, understanding, and the shared experience of navigating both the land and life's challenges. The days that followed were filled with careful preparation and quiet reflection. Sam and Nayeli practiced their skills, observed the land, and discussed the lessons she had learned from her family. He began to see the full depth of her abilities, the way she could read people, understand situations, and anticipate outcomes. He realized that she was not just a companion, she was a guide, a teacher, and a force of resilience. One afternoon, while working in the garden, Nayeli spoke softly. "Sam, soon we may face people who do not understand us or our intentions. The knowledge I have gained is important, but it must be used wisely. We must act with care, respect, and courage." Sam nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He had learned much in the past weeks, not only about survival in the land, but also about trust, respect, and the quiet strength of someone who had lived a life of preparation and vigilance. As the sun set and the sky deepened to shades of deep blue, Sam realized that the revelation of Nayeli's identity was only the beginning. Her story, her family, and the responsibilities she carried were far more significant than he had imagined. But he also understood that their bond, built on trust and respect, would guide them through the challenges ahead. And as the night wind rustled through the trees, carrying the promise of new days and new discoveries, Sam felt a sense of determination. Whatever trials lay ahead, they would face them together, learning, growing, and honoring the trust and courage that had brought them this far. The morning sun rose softly over the hills, casting long golden shadows across the landscape. Sam and Nayeli were already awake, preparing for the day ahead. There was a quiet determination in the air, a sense that this day would mark an important turning point in both their lives. After the revelations about her family, Nayeli had grown more confident, and Sam had grown more aware of the depth of her strength, courage, and wisdom. "Are you ready?" Sam asked as he saddled his horse, looking at Nayeli with respect and curiosity. Nayeli adjusted her satchel and nodded. "Yes, today we face what must be faced. It is time for my family to see that I am prepared and that you are a friend they can trust." Sam felt a mix of anticipation and caution. He had come to care deeply for Nayeli, not just as a companion but as someone extraordinary whose life had been shaped by responsibility, skill, and courage. He knew that today could be challenging, but he trusted her judgment completely. They rode in silence through the winding trails, their horses moving steadily. The hills stretched out before them, dotted with trees and rocky outcrops. Nayeli's eyes scanned the landscape constantly, noticing every movement, every sound, every subtle detail. Sam followed closely, learning from her careful observation, realizing that this journey was as much about understanding her as it was about reaching their destination. After several hours, they approached a large clearing where a small group of people had gathered. Sam immediately recognized them from Nayeli's earlier hints, the trusted members of her family and community. At the center stood the chief himself, tall and composed, his presence commanding yet calm. His eyes, dark and thoughtful, met Nayeli's, and for a moment there was silence. The wind shifted, carrying the faint scent of pine and wildflowers across the clearing. Nayeli dismounted and stepped forward, her posture confident but respectful. "Father," she said softly, "I have come to learn, to understand, and to show that I am ready to take responsibility for the lessons you have taught me." The chief studied her carefully, his expression unreadable. Then he spoke, his voice calm and deliberate. "You have returned, Nayeli, and you have grown stronger and wiser. I have watched your journey from afar, and I see that you carry our teachings well. But now I must meet the one who has traveled with you, who has earned your trust." Sam stepped forward, keeping his gaze steady. "I am Sam," he said quietly. "I have come to help and to protect Nayeli. She trusted me, and I hope to prove that her trust is not misplaced." The chief looked at him for a long moment, assessing him with sharp, thoughtful eyes. Then, slowly, a small nod of approval followed. "Trust is not given lightly," he said. "It must be earned through action, respect, and integrity. From what I hear, you have shown these qualities." Sam felt a mixture of relief and respect. The chief's words carried weight, and he understood the responsibility that had been placed upon him, not just to Nayeli, but to her family and her heritage. The group spent the day together, talking quietly and observing one another. Nayeli shared her experiences over the past weeks, including the lessons she had learned from Sam and the ways they had worked together to navigate the land and understand its challenges. The chief and his trusted members listened carefully, nodding at her observations and at Sam's thoughtful contributions. As the afternoon sun began to dip toward the horizon, the chief spoke again. "Nayeli, your journey has shown courage, wisdom, and patience. You have demonstrated that you understand our values and the importance of careful observation. And you, Sam, have shown loyalty, respect, and courage. Your presence has helped guide her and protect her." There was a moment of silence, heavy with meaning. Sam realized that he was witnessing a rare and important event, an acknowledgement of trust and respect that went beyond words. Nayeli's eyes met his briefly, a silent message of gratitude and understanding passing between them. The chief then addressed Nayeli directly. "It is time to accept the responsibility that comes with your place. You are not only my daughter, you are a leader in training, someone whose decisions will influence the lives of many. Today, we recognize your strength, your skill, and your character. You have proven yourself worthy. Naomi bowed her head respectfully. Thank you, Father. I will do my best to honor our family and our teachings. I will act with care, respect, and courage. Sam watched quietly, feeling a deep sense of pride. He had known from the beginning that Naomi was extraordinary, but seeing her recognized by her family, acknowledged for her strength and wisdom, was a moment of profound realization. She was more than capable. She was destined for great responsibility, and she had earned her place. As evening approached, the group gathered around a small fire in the clearing. The conversation became lighter, filled with stories, laughter, and gentle observations about the land and life. Sam and Naomi sat close together, sharing a quiet understanding of the journey they had taken together. He realized that their bond had deepened beyond friendship. It was built on trust, respect, and shared experience. The chief spoke once more as the stars began to appear in the sky. Remember, the world is full of challenges, but also full of opportunities. Courage, respect, and understanding will guide you. Naomi, you have learned much, and you will continue to learn. And Sam, your loyalty and integrity have shown that the best partnerships are built on trust and care. Sam nodded quietly, feeling honored by the recognition. He knew that his journey with Naomi was not over, but he also understood that they had passed an important test of character and trust. They had faced uncertainty together, navigated challenges, and discovered the strength in one another. As the night grew deeper, Sam and Naomi walked to the edge of the clearing, looking out over the hills bathed in moonlight. The landscape was serene, yet full of promise. "We've come far," Sam said softly, "and I feel like this is only the beginning." Naomi smiled, her eyes reflecting the stars above. "It is only the beginning," she said. "But now we understand each other more and we are stronger for it. Together, we can face what comes with courage and care." They returned to their horses and rode back to the cabin as the night wind whispered through the trees. Along the way, Sam reflected on the journey they had taken, the moments of uncertainty, the lessons learned, and the growing bond between them. He realized that life on the frontier was unpredictable, but the trust and respect they had built were anchors in a world of change. Back at the cabin, they prepared a simple meal and sat outside under the stars. The quiet of the night was comforting, filled with the gentle sounds of nature, the rustle of leaves, the distant cry of an owl, the soft trickle of a nearby stream. Sam and Naomi shared stories of the day, discussing what they had learned and the new understanding they now carried. "You've changed my life," Sam said quietly. "Not just by being here, but by showing me how to see the world differently. I've learned patience, observation, and respect in ways I never expected." Naomi looked at him, her expression calm but warm. "And you've changed mine," she replied. "You've shown kindness, trust, and courage. You've proven that not all people judge by appearances or assumptions. That is why I trust you, and why I know we can face what lies ahead." The night deepened, and they watched the stars together, feeling a sense of peace and accomplishment. The journey that had begun with a strange and unexpected meeting had led them to trust, understanding, and recognition. They had faced uncertainty, navigated challenges, and discovered the strength that comes from honesty, care, and shared experience. In the quiet moments before sleep, Sam reflected on the lessons of the journey, the importance of trust, the value of patience, and the power of understanding. Naomi, too, reflected on her own growth, recognizing the courage it had taken to face her family and the wisdom she had gained along the way. The fire burned low, and the night air was cool, carrying the scent of the earth and the promise of a new day. Sam and Naomi knew that life on the frontier would continue to bring challenges and surprises, but they also knew that together, they had the strength, trust, and understanding to meet them. As sleep approached, both felt a sense of contentment. The journey had revealed truths, built bonds, and prepared them for whatever lay ahead. They had faced uncertainty, learned from each other, and discovered the courage and wisdom within themselves. And under the stars, with the land stretching endlessly before them, they rested, ready for the adventures, challenges, and lessons that tomorrow would bring.